All right, huge news. James O'Keefe is going to sue Twitter over their termination of his account for defamation. This comes, of course, on the heels of their giant expose on CNN, in which they basically confirmed that CNN was part of the conspiracy that was reported by Time Magazine, by the way, not like a crazy conspiracy, the actual out in the open conspiracy of the media to keep Donald Trump out of office in the 2020 election. There was a conspiracy of people working together to create a media narrative about the election to influence people to vote against Donald Trump. That was out in the open, reported by Time Magazine. There's going to be a link somewhere up here with a little eye. You can follow that link if you want a video summary of what was going on. It's all there, and now Project Veritas is suing after James O'Keefe was removed from it. We're going to talk about why, but I'm going to let James go ahead and tell us what's going on, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer, but I'm also a legal and political commentator here on YouTube. If you like that stuff, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any videos, okay? Here we go, in the words of James O'Keefe.
So today, Twitter suspended me permanently. I got an email saying that I was suspended for operating fake accounts. This account will not be reinstated. This comes on the heels of our extraordinary exposed CNN series. All of those videos are now taken down. This is not a coincidence. This is sick. When you go to my Twitter page, you actually see a CNN promoted tweet under my name. On Monday, we are filing a lawsuit. We are going to sue them. Now, they think they're protected by Section 230. You are not protected under United States law to lie about me with malice, with reckless disregard for the truth. We already won against the New York Times in the New York Supreme Court on a motion. We're going to get discovery into the New York Times, and now we're going to get discovery into Twitter. You cannot get away with this. You can follow me on Telegram here. You can donate to pay our legal bills here. We were going to sue CNN, and now we're going to sue Twitter. Stay tuned.
Okay, so there it is. That is what's going on from the man himself. Now, I have some thoughts about this. Let me take this to a legal level and talk about the claims, talk about what they're facing. Okay, so at the core of this, we have what appears to be some sort of defamation suit. James is saying you don't have protection to lie about me with malice. Now, what he's talking about is the actual malice standard that they just overcame in their motion against the New York Times. So what this standard is it comes from an old case, New York Times versus Sullivan, and it says that when you're suing someone for defamation and you are a public figure, then you need to overcome this standard called actual malice. Actual malice means knowledge of falsity or reckless disregard for the truth of the matter. Now, when you get into talking about news agencies or whatever, getting into that actual malice standard can be a problem. Twitter is not a news agency. They are not news reporting. So the question of can they overcome this hurdle of actual malice? Well, the question is, do they have knowledge that what they're saying is false, or are they acting in a way that is recklessly disregarding a truth that they could discover? With news organizations, you show that by showing they didn't do the sufficient amount of research. That is their own standard. They breached their own self-imposed duty of standards in their reporting. Like I said, Twitter's not a news organization, so it's going to be a little bit different. But that is actually the secondary problem. They have an initial issue here to get past, and there are ways to do it, but it's kind of a challenging one. James O'Keefe was suspended, and when you go to his page on Twitter, it says it was suspended. It doesn't say why. Now, he got an email saying that his Twitter was suspended for operating fake accounts. But Twitter didn't say that to anyone other than James O'Keefe or his agents, according to what they're thinking. They're sending an email to the email account on the owner's, whatever email account they chose. They're sending an email there. Twitter didn't broadcast to the world that James O'Keefe was removed for operating fake accounts. Apparently, James O'Keefe did. So that's going to be one of Twitter's defenses to the defamation. We didn't make a statement. We did not publish a statement to anybody about this. Now, James O'Keefe's argument around that is likely going to have some sort of statement like, while Twitter may not have directly said this, they knew that this would be reported, and they made the allegation in light of the knowledge that James O'Keefe, through Project Veritas, would be publicizing that they knew that the publicity would go ahead and be surrounding this. And so they're trying to hide behind the fact that they terminated for a false reason, knowing that it would be communicated to the public at large when they did it. And even if Project Veritas didn't make the statement, people were going to contact James O'Keefe and ask about this. Twitter should have known that. And that's probably going to be a big part of their theory as to how they get past this element that's required in defamation cases, that the speaker actually spoke the words or the writer actually wrote them. Twitter's going to argue they didn't publish any statement to the public. Project Veritas has to overcome that argument. That's going to be step one. Now, once they do that, if they're able to, they definitely will have a case for actual malice if they can show that James O'Keefe is not operating false accounts. Twitter's going to have to counter back and show the fake accounts that they think James O'Keefe is operating as to why they made that decision, why they think that he's operating these accounts, and it becomes a pretty big mess at that point. But for right now, Project Veritas has to overcome these initial hurdles. Did Twitter make a statement that was defamatory to someone other than James O'Keefe? And right now, I'm not sure that they did that. We'll see how the argument works out. Project Veritas has a huge history of winning in court, and this will be an interesting one to watch. We're also, of course, still watching the New York Times video, or case, I should say. We're still watching the New York Times case, and we'll continue to do so. And he mentioned in this that they were planning on suing CNN as well, and will be watching that case as it goes. Project Veritas is one of the organizations I particularly like. They're one of the only organizations out there doing actual investigative journalism, and they do it in a hard-hitting fashion, and people hate them for it. They really, really don't like the idea that they're out there exposing these people with their own words. With that said, I'll be watching. Hopefully you'll be watching. Hit subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Tell me what you think. We'll talk then. Peace. Peace.